There's a bookshop in Ireland called the Winding Stair in Dublin that's been in the same building since 1979, and it has a rule that's been in place for 45 years. If you find a book on the shelves with a handwritten note inside from a previous reader, you're allowed to take the book for free. No questions asked. Here's what makes this absolutely magical. The bookshop started the tradition in the late 1970s when the original owner wanted to encourage people to share their favorite books with strangers, so he told customers, "If a book changes your life, buy a second copy, write a note about why it matters to you, and leave it on the shelf for someone else to discover." Over 45 years, thousands of books in the shop now have handwritten notes tucked inside them. Some are a single sentence, some are full letters, and finding one is like a literary treasure hunt where you discover not just a book, but why it mattered to a complete stranger. The notes range from heartbreaking to hilarious. "This book saved my life after my divorce. I hope it helps you too. Margaret, 1983. Or, "Read this on a beach in Kerry and couldn't stop crying. You're welcome, Tom." Or, "My daughter gave me this before she moved to Australia. Now it's yours. Pass it on when you're done." Some notes are decades old, yellowed and fragile, and you're holding a piece of literary history from someone who might not even be alive anymore. Here's the part that makes people emotional. Readers who take books with notes often come back years later and leave their own book with a note, creating chains of generosity that span generations. There's a worn copy of The Great Gatsby that's been circulating since 1981 with 14 different handwritten notes inside it from 14 different readers over 44 years, each person adding their note to the collection, and the bookshop keeps it on display because it's become a historical artifact of shared reading experiences. The shop employees say they can always tell when someone finds a book with a note because they'll stand in the aisle reading it with tears in their eyes. And sometimes people will buy the book anyway just to preserve the note and add their own before returning it to the shelf. The Winding Stair has become famous for this tradition. Tourists come specifically to hunt for books with notes, and there are online communities dedicated to sharing which books they found and what the notes said. The shop's second floor is a restaurant overlooking the River Liffey, and it's not uncommon to see people eating dinner while reading a book they just found downstairs with a stranger's note that convinced them to take it. Here's the rule that makes it work. If you take a book with a note, you're honor-bound to either return it with your own note added or leave a different book with a note in its place. It's a trust-based system that's worked for 45 years because book people are inherently trustworthy, apparently. The bookshop has no way to track which books have notes or how many are in circulation, so every visit is a genuine surprise. You might find 3 books with notes in one visit, or none for months, which makes discovering one feel even more special. The most touching stories are when people find notes addressed to someone specific. "For whoever needs this, you are not alone, a fellow survivor," or "To the reader." This made me believe in magic again. Hope it does the same for you. And occasionally, people find notes that were meant for them from the universe. Someone going through a breakup finds a note about healing. Someone questioning their career finds a note about following dreams. And they'll post about it online, calling it fate. The bookshop itself is a Dublin institution. It's in a beautiful old building, has creaky wooden floors, floor-to-ceiling shelves, and the smell of old books mixed with coffee from the restaurant upstairs. It survived the 2008 recession when dozens of Irish bookshops closed, partly because of the note tradition creating fierce customer loyalty. People refuse to let it close because it's not just a shop, it's a community ritual. If you just learned there's a Dublin bookshop where thousands of books have secret handwritten notes inside from previous readers, you can take any book with a note for free, and there's a copy of Gatsby that's been circulating for 44 years with 14 different people's notes inside it. Follow for more Irish places where strangers connect through beautiful traditions that restore your faith in humanity.